Board of Bannock County Commissioners are in session. We have one change on the agenda. 925 Shanda Crystal has canceled the contract. Look there.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the amended agenda as discussed.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Chantel Lou with Indigent Services. The case that I have before you this morning is case number 20230019. It's an application for cremation expenses through Wilkes Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200. The application has been submitted by the son who is applying for cremation expenses for his 42-year-old father. The deceased was a Bannock County resident and was not a veteran. With the information that we were able to obtain, it does appear that the deceased meets all Idaho code to be eligible for assistance through the indigent program. Bannock County does appear to be the last resource for payment of his final expenses in this request, and the applicant has agreed to a $25 a month repayment plan upon approval of this application at this time.
Questions?
Nope.
Motion?
Mr. Chair, on case 20230019, I make a motion that we approve that as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And the next item of business is I do have 22 assignments presented for signature to submit to the CAT fund, as well as 3 release of liens for accounts that have either been closed or paid off at this time.
How are you doing on those?
So I have approximately 22 left, and then they will all be with the assignments. They will all be closed.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve and accept the assignments as presented. And what was the other thing?
3 release of liens.
And release the 3 liens as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So next week will be the last time I bring any assignments to you.
You promise?
I promise. And I have submitted the report to the Department of Health and Welfare so that we are prepared to transition to the payment for July to them from CAT to the Department of Health and Welfare effective July 1.
Saw the director up there yesterday.
Oh yes, at the ribbon cutting. We're getting your signatures all lined up for the rest of the day.
Yeah, there's a few of them. Thank you. You representing Todd?
Oh, I was waiting for Katie to go to court. I'm early.
Okay.
Thank you.
go ahead and go to our resolutions then. We have resolution number 2023-53, authorizing an order of reallocation of funds. And D6, resolution number 2023-54, authorizing the destruction of sheriff's office files. Resolution number 2023-55, approving tax cancellation request. And resolution number 23-56, approving May 2023 salaries. And resolution number 2023-58, authorizing issuance of tax deed to Bannock County on property for unpaid taxes.
Mr. Chair, on resolutions number 2023-53, -54, -55, -56, and -58, I would make a motion that we approve those as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I know where I stand on your priority list. No worries. We'll talk after. Maybe that's like 5 minutes.
They switched lines up on me. Funny. Use John's line.
What?
He thought he'd used your line, but they'd switch lines up.
That's no problem. You know, I'll sign anywhere. Different names, no problem.
Salary rate approval form in here has Terrell's name crossed out.
Well, just a cross out.
Yeah. Nancy needs to sign. You go ahead, okay. Next, under letters and notices, we have tax cancellation request. This comes from the assessor's office. Adjustment to value due to fire and 2020 pre-BOE correction left off.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we approve the tax cancellation request as presented from the assessor.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next we have the sheriff's office. They finally have a vehicle available, with purchase of a vehicle. But the only thing that confuses me is that it says that we worked on this on work session on 4/42/23. I don't know. There's a 4/2 in that month. Questions?
No, that one, I was just making sure that is the one that we discussed in that executive session, so, okay. Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the vehicle purchase for the sheriff's office as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, under the consent agenda, we have alcohol licenses, salary rate approval forms, and vendor for the 4th of July celebration, and minutes for May 25th, 30th, and June 1st. Motion on the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
It always amazes me on these alcohol licenses. One is for a 15th birthday, and the other's for a baby shower. So, did Holly, what did she do? Did she,
She left, I guess.
okay,
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure there was a notice of separation.
okay,
So she, yeah, left.
okay.
That's what the
She just got put on that other job, right?
Fairly recently, yeah.
Okay, I thought when I was reading through there, I was kind of confused a little bit. Todd, you're up.
Good morning, Todd Mager with Bannock County Juvenile Justice. I have 4 items to go over today. The first is the limited longevity support grant from the Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections for the assessment center. We were granted, and we have an award, notification of award that needs to be signed, or I'm requesting to be signed, and it's for $244,200. This will allow us to complete some of the construction, camera systems, and some of the supplies needed. We've also wrote in there for basic supplies, power, water, garbage, and then there is some training and a contractual deal for the University of Utah. We're looking to have a half day a week a psychiatrist in our building from the University of Utah. He's a resident, 5th-year resident. We're working on that, but there's funding in this second-year grant award for that as well. So I'm requesting a signature on that first off.
So will this be a year-to-year grant, or is this a one-time shot to kind of get us up and going?
So that's a good question. The year 1 was supposed to be a 1-year shot. This was an added bonus. In talking with the Department of Juvenile Corrections, there hasn't been any more money committed at this time for a year 3. My hopes are we can get our feet under us and moving forward and rally the support of the community and providers in the community to provide these services so that we can, I think it gives us 2 years to really get our feet under us and show what we're able to produce for the community.
So if, let's just say year 3, this grant goes away and we have some community support, are you expecting like Medicaid billings and reimbursements to kind of cover this?
So what I'm looking at right now is we're working closely with Idaho State University. They are, Rex Force, the Director of Health Sciences, has been through the building. They are looking at, well, we're looking at bringing some graduate interns in to provide kind of that crisis counseling between the assessment and when we can get them in with local providers. Is about a 12 to 16 week period sometimes where families can't get in. These graduate students are supervised by licensed clinical social workers, and they can do those, they can provide those services. So we're looking at bringing them in. I've spoke with AmeriCorps, which can provide paid internships for those students. Would also look to bring in some undergrad students to help with the screening and assessment processes. I can supervise those students. And then when we're looking at the initial screening and assessments, there would be a cost for that, but I'm looking at bringing, I'm working with Liberty Healthcare to see what they would provide. They do the cognitive, comprehensive diagnostic assessments for the state Medicaid, or Medicare and Medicaid, and so if we were able to add them into the mix, we could get our comprehensive diagnostic assessments done and then pass off to the targeted care coordinators of the local providers in the community for case management, outlining services. And we would kind of complete that whole cycle within one building visit,
Okay.
is what we're shooting for. So, yeah, and then I'm hoping, we're working with the other counties, Power County, and American Falls School District has been really great. We're looking at, there's funding in here to provide computers and screenings and desks for satellite offices, and American Falls and Power County is on board. My hopes are that as we move forward, those other counties will see benefit in it and will help pay for the assessment tools and the data system. I see that as being kind of the ongoing cost. Also working with School District 25, Pocatello Chubbuck School District, they've been through the building. They're wanting to provide an individual in the building as well.
Okay.
So we got a ways to go, but it's coming together.
Okay, good. I like it.
Questions? Motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve and authorize signature on the FY 2024 Assessment Center Limited Longevity Support Grant.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so the next,
There's 3 spots in here for Jason to sign or financial. Do you want to sign it? You want him to do it later?
Or financial.
All right, go ahead.
all right, so the next item I have is the assessment tool that we're going to use. It's the initial screening tool. We're going to use the juvenile, well, we've chose to use the juvenile inventory for functioning. It is an online screening tool, and there's an agreement that needs to be signed for us to use it. I've run it by Brian. We had to have a little bit of stuff crossed off, and they're good with that. But the purchase would be $6,758, and that will provide us with 900 assessments, which I believe will get us through till the next, until June, when I can purchase the next round of assessments with the LLS grant.
That June of next year, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we'll make another purchase that'll get us through another year, if that makes sense. Kind of spreading it out.
And I see that you visited with Adam about this, and
Yeah.
everything's good, copacetic that way?
Yep, Adam is good with it.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the mini grant as discussed.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So is that the mini grant or the assessment?
Oh, excuse me, the assessment, sorry, said that wrong. I was looking at the wrong line.
All right, so the next item, are we ready? I don't know if we're ready or not. I didn't want
Nope.
to, if you're still signing papers, I
Required
wanted to be
one
respectful.
signature,
So, for the substance abuse block grant for 2024, I did put in, well, it wasn't quite 5,000, it was about 5,000, it was $5,000 for, 2, 80-inch TVs for the assessment center, for the training room. As part of the Families in Action Substance Abuse Education Program we do, there's a lot of video training that the parents and youth watch while they're doing the training. In 2024, the Idaho Office of Drug Policy didn't have enough funding to finance those TVs. However, they had leftover funding in '23 and provided us with a mini grant to make that purchase now so that we would have those TVs. And that's the mini grant. The kicker is I've got to have it invoiced and paid for by the 15th. Well, invoiced, which I've been over to Merlin's yesterday, and we should be good to go on that. So that's the mini grant for $4,959.94.
Questions?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve the mini grant as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Last one is the notice of the 2024 Substance Use Prevention Treatment Recovery Services Block Grant Prevention Services Award. They've actually changed the name of Substance Abuse Block Grant for 2024. So this will provide 6 cohorts of the Families in Action program, including books and materials, pay for staff, and then we do a Teens in Action cohort. We do 2 Teens in Action cohorts at the Marsh Valley Middle School to kind of reach those rural students. And this one's for $7,600.15.
Questions?
And so this is specifically for South County schools?
So the program is Families in Action. So there's a parent version and a youth version. It can be taught together with parents and youth. We initially were trying to teach that whole the Families in Action portion of it in Marsh Valley, but we were having difficulty because we were only doing 1 or 2 classes a year. In looking at the program, you can also teach the teen version separate, just to teens in schools. And so we've worked out with Marsh Valley Middle School to teach their 7th and 8th graders each year. So we teach 2 cohorts of that. But it is specifically designed to reach those rural communities, you know.
Great. So we're actually providing services past the gap now.
Yes, we are.
Fantastic. So Bannock County doesn't stop at Black Rock Gap.
No, it just keeps going.
Fantastic. Love it. Mr. Chair, I'm grateful to make a motion that we approve this grant as presented and discussed.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So, comments, questions for you.
Yeah.
Yesterday I went up to the ribbon cutting in Idaho Falls.
Mm-hmm.
The name of our facility, we need to move forward on that fairly quick. We need suggestions from you guys, and then this board will
Yeah, so
approve that name.
So we've got to have an I'm creating an advisory board, and I'm wanting to have it done before, July. And so that'll be, I've been pretty busy.
Yeah.
And I've had that folder on my desk for like 2 months with the bylaws, and I need to go through it. And I just talked to Brian about that this morning, but I need to go through it and get it cleaned up, and then come to you, get those bylaws approved, and then create that board.
Okay.
There are some pretty good names that I've heard, but I
Well,
don't want to.
I would say that you can't wait till we appoint the board to get the name. Otherwise, we won't be ready for the opening or have the signs ready.
Gotcha.
We won't have, just going up there
Yeah.
and watching what they did yesterday, and Emma was with me.
Okay.
She's very concerned about the timeline. If we don't move on forward, we won't be able to get the
All right.
signs printed up.
What was the timeline?
Yesterday.
The 8th is the grand opening.
Right,
That's
right.
when the governor will be here, of August. Stop by and talk to Emma and see what but we need to move forward on that fairly quick to be able to get everything printed up and everything. They had T-shirts with the name and the logo.
Oh, wow.
And stuff, so we have to outdo Idaho Falls, is all I'm telling you.
I like that. I like that attitude.
And so we need to move forward to
What's
to represent
your
Bannock
reasoning-
County.
What's your reasoning for waiting for a board to pick the name?
It's part of the National Assessment Center guidelines, the framework that we're following. So the name's got to come from the community, and so if we had the key components of that board, we could probably sit down and come up with a name.
Well, I'm with Commissioner Moser. Let's
Okay.
get that done yesterday
All right.
so we can make a big splash.
Rise Up is the name of this center. And Rise Up in the future. And I think that something along those thoughts and pattern too.
For sure.
Is good for. So anyway, I just to put that out there, we need to be moving on that.
Okay, I'll get going on that.
Mother's Manor, maybe, huh?
No, no, we don't want to do that. No. Nope.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Looks like we have a delegation from Woods Court. Come on up.
Do you want those?
No. Now, the only way you get these, Todd, is if you stop down to Christie and make sure she has everything she needs.
I know the drill,
Okay,
and I don't want to mess the drill up.
so do I, because I get told when I get down there.
Well, and he also has to get
Brian, can you sign
Frank's
this?
a copy.
Okay.
He's good.
All right, welcome.
Good morning.
Please introduce yourselves for the record.
I'm Judge Gabiola. I'm presiding judge over the Wood Court Treatment Program.
And I'm Katie Avahauser. I'm the Wood Court Coordinator.
I'm Jared Marchand, I'm the 6th District Treatment Court Manager.
Well, welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. We're here again on our annual meeting to ask your approval for the Wood Court funds that have been earmarked from the Idaho Department of Corrections for fiscal year 2023-2024. As you know from the documents, the director has earmarked $200,000 annually for the Wood Court program, and we're asking that you approve that.
Would you just real briefly talk about what Wood Court is and some of your successes?
Yes, Wood Court's, it's a different program than the other Bannock County treatment courts. I don't know when Senator Joanne Wood was the person that started the treatment court program, or at least got the funding to start the Wood Court program. That's why it's named after her. And the Wood Court program is a program where we take participants who have been to prison, participants who've been on a retained jurisdiction, or both, and participants have mental health issues in addition to addiction issues. And so they're a specific population. Typically, again, they've been through the system, so to speak, and so it's somewhat of a last stop, I guess you could say, for those that continue to engage in criminal conduct, and to address recidivism and prevent recidivism. We take those participants with those histories and provide them treatment, case management, and programming to address the substance use issues and prevent their relapse and recidivism into crime in our criminal system.
And I would say, I just want to throw in there, this last year for our fiscal year, we were at 77% for graduation rate.
Fantastic.
That's exciting. I just have a couple, go ahead.
No.
Do you have I have a couple of questions as I was looking through the budget. So the operating supplies and park and rec. And the other day we had a conversation, we spent like $10,000 for park and rec for City of Pocatello.
Correct, yeah, it was for $5,000.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and it's for gym membership. We offer it to our participants so they have an opportunity to engage in some kind of self-help that's productive. I know that you guys are looking for more information in the future, kind of maybe a tracking list, and so I will begin that this fiscal year.
Yeah, just the stuff like that comes across us and we go, oh,
Yeah.
Parks and Rec, what are we doing here? And then Christie, oh, well, that's Wood Court, but we like to look at every line.
Yeah,
And in
absolutely.
doing that, and I'm just comments, especially for the commissioners here, you have Pocatello Free Clinic for $3,000. What, and why I asked that question is, they come to us and ask for money also. So I look at a double dipping type situation, so kind of, would you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Pocatello Free Clinic, a lot of our focus is to, when they're released, sometimes they don't have access to Medicaid. So they offer wellness visits specifically for Wood Court participants, and that would include like medication. Oftentimes when they're being released, they only have a 30-day supply, so getting access to a treatment provider quickly for their mental health meds. And then they'll continue those services if someone's not eligible for Medicaid.
Okay, and then the other one was Hope and Recovery, and they're $7,500 for it. What?
So Hope and Recovery has been a huge support to Woodport. They offer a lot of support when we're doing orientation appointments. They have their doors open for Woodport to support any participant who is struggling, to keep them involved in the recovery community and keep them in, a positive space. So huge benefit to Woodport.
So since Hope and Recovery has moved over here to the complex,
Yes.
has it improved? I mean, we quit giving money because they didn't even come and present before us. We invited them in and stuff, and then, so they're coming to us again and asking for funds, and I just, like I say, the double dipping deal is what I want to look at and make sure that we have the correct information.
Yeah, they've definitely improved in a lot of ways, and they're more vocal and more supportive and more active in saying, how can we help you guys? What do your participants need? So I would say that there's been improvement for sure. And technically, it's Center for Hope. I'm sure that budget says on there, Hope.
And they changed their name because they went under, they lost their, their exemption as a, anyway, they had to go under Idaho Falls actually as a subsidiary of them, and so that's why we ask these questions. Is,
Absolutely, yeah.
wait a minute, we didn't hear good things, and now, so. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, just real quick, is your treatment, do you have like parameters that are set by the state, or is it purely local driven, and how you guys kind of have say as to how the Wood Court runs here locally?
It's set by national standard, best practices, and yeah, so the treatment that's provided by Gateway follows a national standard for treatment, which is across the board. I think the same for any treatment court program.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the request as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And there's another one here, it says Financial Officer Christie.
Thanks for all your work.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Yep.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we enter into executive session under Idaho Code 74-2061, Prim A and B.
Commissioner Moser,
Yes.
Commissioner Huff,
Yes.
Commissioner Crowder.